Hello guys, I got here a 2001 Chevy Traverse LT and it's a V6 engine. I'm having a check engine light, and when I scan it, it's showing me that I have multiple misfires. So I'm going to try and attempt and change my spark plugs to see if that will solve the problem. If not, I move on to the next itinerary that might help me fix it. So to start, there's a screw right down in there, which I took out using that. Once you take that screw out, you can remove this cover, and then you can pop off this lid. Put it aside, and now I want to take this off, so I'm going to remove that with I think number 10, with the number 10 socket. And then I'm going to disconnect these clips, either from here or from here, whichever one. And then I'm going to remove this clip and then remove that clip and take out this whole manifold together with that, because I don't want to mess up this clamp right here. After taking the cover off, I'm going to put back the engine oil cap just for safety, so nothing falls in there. And with a flat screwdriver, I'm going to remove this clamp, and I'll do the same to the other one. I'm not going to remove it completely, just loosen it up. Then we're going to do the same on this very one. There, loosen that and take it out. I got those two clamps out, so I took this off from the intake, and now I'm going to remove one of the clamp and take off this whole piece. Now I got the cover out. This is what you see now. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take out the coils and then change the spark plug. And there are 3 here, and I have 3 at the very back. If you look at it closely, you should be able to see. It's going to be a tight one to do, but we can figure it out. So we have one right there. We got one right there. That is that. And there are 3 of them. Alright. So this is it. It's that one. There are 3 more. So we're gonna figure out how to take it out from the back. We're going to use the same number 10 socket to loosen these bolts. I'm going to do the same for all of it. It's very cold out here, so I have my heater on, and that's the noise in the background. So please forgive me for that. So once I get them loose, I can easily use just the socket to get the rest off, and do the same for all 3. I'll finish changing the front 3, and then we'll deal with the back 3. Once you take out all the screws, now we'll have to disconnect the harness, and to do that I pull back this gray tab. So we're going to pull back this gray tab, and it's hard to do with one hand, but I can try. So it's hard. Pull it back, and then once you pull it back, put your hand underneath and press this black tab here down. Pinch it really hard to help you to pull this out from there. Then after taking it out, then you can pull out the coil. And then we have the spark plug in there where we can change. After taking out the ignition coil, I have my number 16 long socket. So that's it, number 16. And with an extension to be able to reach it. Go deep in there, set it right on top of it, and take it out. Be gentle with this so you don't mess up the spark plugs that are already in there. Since my socket is not a spark plug socket, it's hard to pick it out. What I'm going to do is use my long nose to reach in there gently without scratching anything and just pick it up. So here I got it out. And you can see how bent my spark plugs looks. So it's a good idea changing everything. Here's my old spark plugs, and that's the new one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my long nose to hold it and drop it in gently. Then after that, my socket is going to do the rest. Put it back, put my 16 socket on it, and hand tighten it. Once it's done, I apply the right amount of torque, and that should be it. Try and make sure not to over tighten your plugs in there, because we want to avoid it seizing later on when we want to change it. So just tighten it down to the right amount of torque, and I know what it feels like, so that's it. Now move on to the next one. Do that for all the remaining 5. It should be good. When we're going to take off the ones at the back, I'm going to show you how I go about it. Just after replacing each one, I'm going to make sure I put the coil back in there to prevent anything from falling in there. Then when I'm done with everything, I'm going to connect my cables to it. I'm leaving this off just to help me know that this has been changed already. And I'll do the same for the rest. I'm done changing all 3 at the front, and I'm going to go ahead and connect the electrical cables to them and make sure it snaps in, and push this tab all the way forward to lock it in. Make sure it snaps, then push this all the way in. Make sure it snaps in, and push this all the way in. I'm going to go ahead and replace my screws, my bolts that I took out. And I'm going to do that for all of them. After that, I'm going to tighten it up with my socket and wrench to the right torque. I'm going to go back in there with my number 10. Now I'm going to tighten them to the right torque, of which I know what it should feel like. Make sure you don't over tighten it. Alright, so I got all of them in. I'm going to do the back. And what I'm going to do is, let me give you a close view at the back. So the ones at the back, that is one of them. The next one, right there, and then the next one after that. So I'm going to go in there blindly, disconnect the power cable. I'm going to disconnect that, and then take off the power, and try and take out this screw and change them one by one, just like I did for the front. It's going to be tough, but we'll manage it. I'm going to use the shorter wrench instead of that because it's a tight space, and I'm going to try and see how best I can get that screw out. So that's the screw. I have to figure out how I'm going to get that in there. I figured out that with this short extension, I would be able to go right in there and find it easier to take it out. So we are aiming at getting that out. I'm going to put this right on top of it. And here, you can see, I have enough room to get it loose. So here, it's just coming out. Now that it's loose, I can take off the handle, and I'm just going to go in with that right on top of it, and we can easily get it out like that. Here, you can see they're getting it out. There's a tight space, so it's a bit harder to see. But getting it loose. Once it's loosened up, you can go in there and you can get it out. So that's it. We got that out. Now we have to get the electrical connector out. First and foremost, we're gonna get this gray. We're gonna get this gray tab back. It's a hard one to do. I'm gonna manage it. So I got it back. Now I need to press both the top and the bottom as hard as I can to release that, which I did. And now we can take out the coil from there. Here, I got the coil out. And now we're going to take out the spark plug, just like we did the other one. We're going to use a bit longer extension. I'm going to take this one out. And I'm going to connect that to it. I'm going to take out the number 10 and go in with the number 16. And by hand, we can drop this in the hole, after which we connect the socket to the back of it. So there's a hole right there. I'm going to try my best. Get that in there. Make sure it picks it, which I think it has. So now we're going to get in with my short socket. And make sure it's on the open position. So then I can just twist it and get it loose. For the ones at the back, I will not be able to put my pliers in there and pull it out. What I'm planning on doing, or what I'm going to do, is let me show you that. That is my socket, and that's the wrench. I have here a magnet which is going to hold on to the spark plug once it's loose, so it can come out easy. So I have that here, and I'm going to put that back in there. Once I put it in there, there's the hole. That's the hole. If it is loose, you should be able to pick it up together with a spark plug. I think the next time what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the shutter, so you see it all came out together. The next time I'm just going to put the shutter handle in there and see if that'll make it easier to give me enough room to pull it out. But here's it. It came out. It's not going to fall because of the magnet. So that's another trick you can use if you have one. You just have to make sure you're patient when you're screwing it back in, because you can't see what you're doing and you have limited space back there. I have it back in. I'm going to go ahead and put the coil back where it should be, so nothing falls inside. I have to make sure it's seated right. The cable is not in the way. Right now I think the cable is in the way. Alright, I have it pulled out of the way. Go ahead and get this well seated in. I'm going to leave this cable for now. I'm going to do the next one and the next one till I'm done. Just did this one here, we're gonna do that one. And then there's the next one behind it. It's gonna be a challenge, but we're gonna get it. I was able to manage to get my fingers through here, then all the way back, and that's how I was able to take this out from here. Try and make it clearer. You seem to be clear. Let me try again. Maybe it will work this time. So then I was able to hold it this way and then pry it out after pushing back this gray lock. Now I'm going to take out the screw. I think it's right somewhere here. It's hard to see, but yeah, that's it. So I'm going to get my number 10 socket, take it out, and work my way out. At this point, I changed the first one. Now the second and third ones won't come out because the intake manifold or the intake cover is holding or is latching to it at the edges. So once I try to pull the coil out, it's hitting the bottom portion at the back side. So I would have to take out the entire intake to be able to take those last two out and change them. So I'm going to take out these screws, and 3 here, then we have 4 and 5 and 6, which is that one, and pretty much disconnect all the connections associated with it to be able to get it out safely. I'm going to disconnect all the electrical cables. So with this, I push back this red tab, and once it's back, I press onto that and wiggle it out. Just take a picture so that when you put it back, you know exactly where everything needs to go. We're going to disconnect this power cord too. Pull back the gray tab, and then you pull it out. I'm going to take these off with the number 10 since the long socket cannot fit on that. So I'm loosen it up, loosen this up, just to be able to disconnect these. I'm loosen this up. Just gonna take it all out. So I have that. I'll do the same here. And I keep on working my way. Now I can try and disconnect these two clips. It's going to get messy, so what I'll do is once I take this out, I'm going to try and disconnect it. I think this is a tab that can help you to disengage it. Once I disconnect that, I'm going to put this back here just to reduce the spill that is going to occur. here I disconnected this from that, and I reinserted this tube here, which was from here. I just put it in there just to reduce the spill, and I'm going to set this aside so it's out of my way. Got here a number 13 socket, and I'm going to take all of these loose. I'm going to loosen everything. Now I took all the screws out, all the bolts out, so I'm going to just pry this and try and get it to loosen up. Once it's loose, I'll pick it to the side, fix the tube, and put it back in there. Here, I was able to pry it up, and you can see all the gunk. I'm just going to push it to the side, remove the two at the back, and then put it back in there, just to avoid too much work. I have to be careful not to mess up the seal, the gasket that is down here, and make sure nothing drops down in there. I had this pin, this pipe right in here. I had to push this down to be able to disconnect that, and that's for the, I think, the gas. That's where it goes back. Excess gas goes back into the engine. So I have that disconnected, and I'll turn it. I can turn it in, try and disconnect this. This harness has another clip holding it right over here. Put on the line right here. That's it. We can need to disconnect it. Then I'll twist and turn this out, and then get this hose off. I was finally able to disconnect this hose. I had to use my two hands. Now I can twist it some more. I put some cloth here just to prevent particles from going inside the intake of cylinders. Now I can twist and turn this, put it free, which we just did. So now I can take the intake off. I realized there was one more electrical connector right here, which I need to disconnect. From the back, right here. So I have to take that last one out if I can take it out. This was one of the hardest stuff to take out. I think it's my cage valve solenoid electrical connection, which is right behind that. struggled taking it off. What I had to do was pull back the white or gray color clip, and then I had to put a small object flat piece in between the braid. Try and get it back here. I have to put it right in there. Press it down. Before I was able to pull this out. So this is where I stuck my flat piece in there between the white and the black before I could take it out. You have to either pull this down or put something in between it to loosen it up. Now I should be able to get everything out in one piece. I put some cloth there to prevent dust from going in there, but now I should be able to get this out in one piece. Now I have it out finally. And the reason why I had to take it out is I saw a lot of dust particles in between the gasket and the intake, so I had to remove it and then clean it all up. This is how clean my intake looks. And now we'll look at how it looks on the engine. Taking the cloth out, and this is how it looked in there with all the debris. So I couldn't just put it back on. I had to make sure I clean everything good. And these are the two that would have to take two coils that were being blocked. So now I'm gonna cover this back up, change the coils, and then clean all that up. Or I can do vice versa, just clean everything up before I change that. Now that I have it cleaned and covered, I can go ahead and continue to take out the coils and change the last two spark plugs. Just make sure nothing falls into it, because it's going to be a problem. Out, put it in there, and remove that spark plug. Now I got the intake back in. I have connected all the electricals back in place, connected the clips in, this clamp back in, and then I also connected the what do you call it? The solenoid back in the electrical connection for that back there, the one that was really hard to get out back there. So I pretty much have everything in there. think it's a page valve. Yeah, not solenoid. It's a page valve. That's the electrical connection for that, which is back in there. I have these holes connected back in there with a clamp. This had to go in first because I had to tilt the whole intake and then put it back in. Okay, because once you tilt it, you can twist that to the point where it would be able to come out, because these two portions are anchoring it in place. So once you tilt it off it, it's going to come out. And then I have this clip, this metal piece back in there, and the clamp, and this quick connect back in place. I'm going to go ahead, put the cover, the other manifold. I'm going to put this other manifold in, then we try it. Now just make sure everything has been tightened down to what it should be, and you're good to go after that. I went ahead and put this back in there with the connectors. I'm going to tighten the clamps and then tighten the screw back up, and then I can cover it up. Make sure you connect these holes back in place where it should be. Then you can use your clippers to using the clamp so it can go in.